relationships. I think it's often forgotten that my value prop or my business plan is so good that of course someone's going to buy this or invest in this or give us money because my goodness we're winning games or we want to win games or whatever it might be. People give to people. People invest in people. And so being available, being part of that, investing in those relationships, so that when the time comes for that ask, it's not the first thing you've heard of them, right? Like it's important to be there. So that genuine relationship I've found to be huge.
So talk a little bit on that point of fundraising, Jay.
Yep.
Any good college president is going to tell you that one of the best and easiest ways to find a donor's heart is through sports.
Yeah.
And yet that doesn't say, it's not universally shared. It sounds like, and I was talking to Coach Key about this morning, he and you, the president of Georgia Tech, are totally aligned. How do you make sure that it stays that way, and what happens if it doesn't?
Alignment institutionally is the most important thing that you can have in an athletic department. So the kind of vision and the emphasis from your institution's president is the most important thing. President Angel Cabrera here at Georgia Tech, he's one of the most pragmatic, visionary leaders you could ever want as an athletic director. But that athletic director, working with the president, your governing board, down to your coaches, that alignment's huge. And it's not just your president, right? It's the overall academic, kind of the entire community. Part of it is it has to be valuable to every student, not just to your student athletes, right? The role of college athletics has to be a part of the overall institution. And, I've talked a lot about that relationships are built on shared experiences, right? And so part of the role I think college athletics plays in an institutional life cycle is, right? Like, think about all those memories you had from college, right? I remember when. I can't tell you how many fundraising conversations start with, I remember the miracle on Techwood when Georgia Tech beat Florida State and we blocked the punt and we, that shared experience ties together alums to the institution, right? And a lot of times that engagement doesn't doesn't just necessarily end on the athletics front, right? I've raised, I don't know how much over my career, but a lot of those gifts are often starting points to what that scholarship that you give in the School of Business where you graduated from becomes. And to your point about creating value, that's the way you create value, is those donor relationships that go beyond. And then the other part is, the most important work at Georgia Tech is being done in our labs, in our classrooms, our researchers, GTRI. That's the most important work, right? But at the end of the day, the way that we are able to share that publicly is through the athletic story that we tell, whether it's the, simple spot that's in the game. We won awesome Aer Lingus Classic, right?
Yes.
In the summer, we're in Ireland, we go to Dublin, Florida State, last second kick, win the game. It's awesome.
Week zero.
You're
essentially the only game in town, right?
Yep. Interestingly, right, there's, 3 or 4 million people that watched that game, which was awesome. Yeah. But we had 2 billion on social media within one day. 2 billion. There is nothing that we can do. There's no investment on the institutional front that can tell our story better than that. And I think, President Cabrera, he fully embraces that, invests in that, and that's what's got us positioned so well, right, to move forward into this new era.
When our engine stops, our drive continues. A new opportunity, driven to be better than before. We go again, as we prepare for another race. This way of life is not for everyone, but I would not trade it for the world.
And so when you think about a lot of that change, Jay, one of the things that is just front and center is this whole notion of conference realignment.
Sure.
You have experienced it firsthand with some maybe unexpected new members of your conference who are nowhere near the Atlantic coast. I'm thinking about, SMU. I'm thinking about Stanford and Cal. Where do we go on that? And what happens? What's the right thing to happen from your perspective?
That's a great question. First and foremost, we got to keep the kids in mind, right? And so wherever we go with that, we have to be sure that we're supporting them through all that journey. And I'll tell you, I think the ACC did a really good job recruiting members that made sense from a institutional profile, commitment to athletics, right? Those are long plane flights. I did one to LA and back last week to watch our women compete at UCLA. But we're taking those steps to support them through it. As far as the conference realignment landscape, listen, I can only speak about the ACC because that's what we're in. We've recently been really innovative, right? We've gone to unequal revenue distribution based on on-field success and TV viewership. And so part of what you can do, Jason, is you can be intentional about how you organize and arrange different things, right? We're going to play we'll play our Georgia game for football on a Friday afternoon, right? Last year, we played that game on a Friday evening in Athens, 8 overtimes. It's not painful or anything. At the end of that, we had 9 million people watch that game, right? Part of why that happened is that we intentionally organized, worked with our partners in Athens to say, hey, we should do that game on a Friday night. ABC picks it up. Part of that is being intentional about how do you organize that schedule? What are you doing on that front to create value?
Yeah, Jay, it's incredible. I mean, my head is spinning because I don't know. I mean, this is not what I grew up with. I remember back in the day, you had a guy like Herschel Walker, but he went to Georgia, and you know what high school he came from. He's going to be there for at least 3 years. You know, the coach was going to be, you know, which conference, you know, what TV. Now you don't know anything. I guess my question is, and this is something that I'm struggling with. I'm a parent of 2 daughters, and one is a sophomore at Michigan, one is a junior in high school. And I'm thinking if someone like you showed up at my house, I love that they get to share in the economics. That's always great.
Yep.
What I don't love is no commitment, no loyalty, and an optional education. How do we give them the resources or make them earn the resources, but also give them the chores that make this country great? Like the fact that you got to work for it.
Well, I think, you know, part of what will be great as we move into this next era of college athletics is student athletes are going to have more and more opportunity to earn that third-party NIL, right? There'll be financial gain and benefit that go with that. And so that part will be enhanced, Alex. I think it's important. But, you know, part of that, I think what makes higher education, college athletics great is you do still get, even if the window gets compressed, right? Even if the window gets compressed and maybe somebody transfers, you still get all those intrinsic values of resiliency, right? You fail on a stage in front of thousands of people. You know way better than I do, right? You have the ability to be a great teammate, teamwork. All those parts and pieces that go with what does college athletics do, even if it gets microwaved, right, at times. But there's still as many stories as there are of student athletes that leave. There's just as many as the ones that stick it out, right? And so it's our job in college athletics to build those environments that support the kids to make those good decisions, to see the value in the higher education part of the equation. Listen, again, not going to be naive enough to not say there's part of it that's going to come down to what's the rev share and all the other parts that work with it. But that's our job. And that's when I come to see you guys, you know, we'll send the coaches first. But at the end of the day, I think it's important we talk as much about that as anything.
All right, you ready for rapid fire?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. All right, so the only rule is keep it tight.
Okay.
I'll start and then Alex will pick up. What's one word to describe your deal-making style?
Direct.
What's more important, your gut or data?
Both.
Cop out. Who's your dream deal-making partner?
Nick Saban?
Ooh, good one.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received on deal making or business?
Always be honest.
What's the worst advice you've been given?
Do the rapid fire question thing.
You can only watch one sport for the rest of your life. Which one is it?
I'm a football guy.
American football.
American football.
All right.
Good, clear.
It's a global show.
I like it. Yeah, absolutely.
To clarify.
Yeah.
And you played soccer. What team do you want to see win a championship more than any?
Georgia Tech.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course.
That's the easiest thing. That's the best question yet. Yes. Yeah.
All right, what's your advice, someone listening who wants to have a career just like yours?
You got to do it for the right reason, right? You got to love the enterprise. Don't do it to end up in one of these chairs. Do it because you love the enterprise. You love helping student athletes.
Well, this has been a huge, huge amount of fun. I've been waiting for us to come to Atlanta together. And
You've never been happier, by the way.
I know.
I
It was
don't know if
great.
it's your parents, Georgia, maybe mom cooked for you a little Southern.
I had a great day.
I've never seen you smile so
I
much.
know. I had a great day, and I'm so happy to be here with both of you. And it's great to be able to say on stage on our podcast, to help with Jordan.
Stability and prosperity. We also enhancing the intra-ASEAN trade and investment, not forgetting as well promoting development, growth and prosperity. So three key major focus.
Ya, sebenarnya dengan sidang kemuncak ASEAN 2025 yang berlangsung di Ibu Negara pada hari ini dan juga esok, sebenarnya beberapa
As my birthday signals another milestone in my life, I'm hopeful that if I stay true to myself and follow my instincts, my legacy will be looked on kindly for generations to come.
deklarasi Kuala Lumpur 2020.
As I reach a milestone in my life, I'm humbled by my good fortune, yet well aware that I still have much to learn. And if I stay true to myself and follow my instincts, my legacy will be looked on kindly by my friends, my family, and hopefully generations to come.
Say that we've promised for the future. When you start to see the markets waver a little bit, people are asking the question, do we still have that same level of faith? The sign that rates have started to come back down and the markets are sort of returning back to a normal stasis suggests that they think there is that likelihood moving forward.
Nobody covers the Fed like Bloomberg. All right, let's cut right to it. This is Bloomberg's new show, Primer. Technology is $1 trillion game. Won, lost, won again, just by backing the right science at precisely the right moment.
My life has been focused on how can you elicit intelligence from brain cells in a dish.
This is the fundamental building block of our fusion technology. We're doing things that have never been done by anybody, ever.
Everyone is selling the future. If you want to understand what's coming, you'll want to watch Primer, because details matter.
Lasers on.
So do lasers.
There we go.
Oh, and it's on all these lovely channels. Hope you're jotting this down.
This is Bloomberg Television. I'm Lizzie Burden in London, bringing you a quick live update. Here's a look at what's making headlines around the world. President Trump said that he would extend the 50% tariff deadline on the EU to July 9th, after a call with Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. He spoke to reporters at Morristown Airport in New Jersey. Back to Washington.
We had a very nice call, and I agreed to move it. I believe July 9th would be the date. That was the date she requested. Could we move it from June 1st to July 9th? And I agreed to do that. And that she said we will rapidly get together and see if we can work something out.
President Trump said he is also absolutely considering new sanctions against Russia due to Moscow's deadly campaign of missile and drone strikes across Ukraine. He expressed frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin to reporters.
He's killing a lot of people. I don't know what's wrong with him. What the hell happened to him, right? He's killing a lot of people. I'm not happy about that.